ladies and gentlemen, our bay simply cannot wait. Regardless of the budget, if pollutants continue to flow into the bay, its water quality and our quality of life will decline. It's that simple. As a young boy in South Baltimore, we used to fish down there near what's now the hospital in Cherry Hill. And we used to catch fish, take them home, fry them, and that became our dinner. Sadly, so much has happened over the years during our watch that if you were to fish today, you'd have to wonder what you're catching. And that's a sad statement. And I would say it over and over and over again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our watch. We have come upon the earth at this moment, and it is our duty to leave the earth better than we found it. Yes. And the Chesapeake Bay included. The longer we put off the serious steps that are needed to reduce the flow of pollution into the bay, the harder the effort to clean the bay up will become. And frankly, the more expensive it will become. President Obama issued an executive order to push for a renewed and reinvigorated federal effort to clean up the Chesapeake Bay. This order embodies President Obama's commitment to the Chesapeake Bay and to making comprehensive environmental restoration a national priority. The order instructs federal agencies to utilize the full extent of existing legal authority to reinvigorate the effort to save the bay. And it requires federal agencies to base their interventions on new assessments of the bay's water quality. The assessments clearly lay out the challenge we face when they declare the following, and I quote, "To meet water quality goals for the Chesapeake Bay, nitrogen and phosphorus pollution must be reduced by 44% and 27% respectively, despite expected population increases of 30% between 2000 and 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, over the past decades, the effort to restore the Chesapeake Bay has been largely based on voluntary agreements within and among the states. The past agreements, enforced only by goodwill, have only achieved water quality in the bay that is still rated very poor, even though billions of dollars have been spent. Ladies and gentlemen, I have come here today to declare that we can do better. We can do better than very poor. This is the United States of America. This is our watch. This is our watch. To meet the challenges we face, we must begin implementing more formal, legally enforceable structures to control pollutant loadings. However, current law does not provide sufficient legal authority to establish, implement, and assess the results of the pollutant controls that the bay needs. We need restoration laws with real teeth. Yes. First, HR3852 will require the EPA to complete its determination of judicially ordered and scientifically derived the maximum tolerable levels of nitrogen and phosphorus in sediment in the bay. Second, the legislation will require each of the bay's watershed states and the District of Columbia to contribute to reducing nutrient flows in the bay until these levels are reached. Third, HR3852 would require equitable reductions in pollution from all sources, including water, wastewater treatment plants, storm water runoff, and runoff generated from agricultural activities. HR3852 would authorize more than $5 billion in federal expenditures. That amount will include $1.5 billion to support initiatives that will control storm water runoff and $500 million annually for 5 years to support the Section 319 programs that help farmers implement non-point source management initiatives. To provide additional assistance to farmers located in the Bay watershed, who I know are struggling in the midst of this prolonged economic crisis, HR3852 would also establish an innovative interstate nitrogen and phosphorus credit trading program. It would build on successful programs already implemented in Pennsylvania and Virginia. To be frank, the agricultural community is concerned, and very concerned, about the potential impact of this new approach to restoring the Bay, especially in the current economic climate. I should emphasize, however, that specific decisions about how nutrient reductions will be achieved are left to the states. Further, I also believe that the program supported by HR 3852 will complement existing initiatives, including the extensive new aid programs approved as part of the last Farm Bill. I also note that the total maximum daily load process mandated by HR 3852 is already judicially required. Our legislation would provide funding to implement the process that the courts have not. The federal government, acting alone, simply cannot achieve all the changes that will be necessary to save the Bay. That will require dedicated and effective effort on the part of the states. Your work is very, very critical. But let me be very clear, it is not enough that the people in this room and some others be a part of this. We must do everything in our power to get others to join us, to join our march, for this is bigger than us. This is not just about 2010. This is about 2060. This is bigger than us. This is about generations yet unborn. And I thank you for all that you do, and I thank you for your foresight. And I know that there are many of you. When you told your husband or wife or a friend that you were coming here to Annapolis today, they said, why be bothered? You've got other things to do. I am so glad that you understand that our investments today will benefit generations yet unborn tomorrow. I appreciate the fact that you care, that you give a damn, that you get up and you try to make the world a better place. And I have come by here simply to say thank you. My friends, I realize that restoring the Chesapeake Bay is a major challenge. So with your permission, I will leave you with these words of encouragement from a friend of mine, Reverend Jesse Jackson. Jesse reminded the delegates that if an issue is morally right, it will eventually become a political force. He spoke of how Rosa Parks did not have majority support when she refused to move to the back of the bus, but that Rosa Parks was morally right. He spoke of how Dr. King once advanced an unpopular viewpoint about the morality of the Vietnam War, but he was morally on the right side. And then Jesse Jackson spoke about how having the courage to do what is morally right, even in the face of adversity, can raise us up and help us to change the world and make it a better place. And Jesse said these words. He said, I'm tired of sailing my little boat far inside the harbor bar. I want to go out where the big ships float, out on the deep where the great ones are. And should my frail craft prove too slight for waves that sweep those billows over, I'd rather go down in a stirring fight than drowse to death at the sheltered shore. Ladies and gentlemen, I beg you to go where the big ones are.